When we talk about urban vitality, what makes sense is that people are willing to spend their time in the city life. And this project we talk about is located in the new urban district. At the beginning, we found three key points for this project. How to deal with the problems caused by the irregularly shaped site, and how to correspond to the city, and how to make the site attractive for citizens. There are only two sides of the site, adjacent to the main road, which makes accessibility for a commercial building a bit weak. The solution is to set a square at the crossroads, forming a unique commercial entrance. And we also design a sub-square entrance on the other side as a supplement. An ecologic land space corridor, which looks like a canyon, was lead into the yard. The project includes not only a shopping center, but also an office tower and two apartment towers. As the client requires the office tower a strong figure to representing the enterprise image, we put it in the open corner so that people can see it when they drive here. And our plan is to put over 88,000 square meters building into nearly 30,000 square meters area. And this page is a design of unique commercial entrance and square of citizens. And this is a design of the other square and entrance on the north side. And now we are looking at the office tower and the apartment towers. And now we are dealing with the second problem: how to correspond to the city. We thought that the origin of the design should root from Chengdu city, from the perspective of culture, of art, of history and lifestyle. Chengdu gardens are different from other gardens in China, such as the famous gardens of Suzhou or the royal gardens in northern China. Chengdu gardens have their own style, with more free spaces and more comfortable atmosphere, just like Chengdu people's characters. And doorred blossoms with rainwater come into sight. And heaven flowers are everywhere in the bouquet city. It's a description of Chengdu by Du Zi, known as the most famous poet in Tang Dynasty. The reflection was about how to add some elements of Chengdu Garden to the project, to express our thoughts of the relationship between nature and human. We want to make this project as another Chengdu Garden, a place with specificity and regional features of Chengdu, more familiar to people who live here. So we used the roof, the yard, and many spaces to build the garden. And finally, we are dealing with the last problem: how to make the site attractive for citizens. As we know, Chengdu was known as Turtle Town in history. People live with vigorous life inside the city wall. So, the goal would be to continue the traditional lifestyle of this city. So we hope to introduce the traditional lifestyle of Chengdu and the internal environment of the commercial complex. Finally, we reached the goal. Tons of garden-style land spaces make this place popular. Kids find happy time here. Old people feel relaxed here. Young couples even propose here. Happy time and happy life, always action in this garden. And the public spaces could be anything, any use, even as a theater. And the free bands like this place more than even a bar. The water space is the most popular area of this building, because Chengdu people really like water. Not only like the water, Chengdu people prefer play with the water. We designed many plank roads so that people could get into the water anytime they like. And also, you can find your slow life with sidewalk tea anywhere in this area. In order to satisfy the higher requirement of customers and market, this project shows a unique solution which has already been a commercial landmark of Chengdu City. In fact, its activities urban vitality of this area and gives a new understanding of Chengdu life.
Well, we very much enjoyed your film, and sorry we couldn't speak to you immediately afterwards, but we did have some questions. One thing that really struck me was I don't think I've ever heard a shopping centre be talked about without any reference to the shops, which I found quite heartening in many respects, because it seemed to have a lot more to do with the public realm and the people who would be there, and the richness of the spaces you'd created were amazing. One of my questions was, it felt very pedestrian. You had a lot of people, I mean that in a good sense, in that you have people walking through it. And yet when you zoomed out, it appears to be surrounded by sort of 8-lane roads. How do people arrive at the site? Are they coming? Is it a pedestrian link between places locally, or are they arriving by car and coming up to enjoy the place?
Okay, I got your question. I will translate to my chef, the architect, a little bit, and then translate back. 他说那个商业的那个内容是怎么样联系的？是从人什么来的？比如说是开车来的，然后上马是从室外的这个一个联系过的。它实际上是3部分都会，第一个开车过来，目的性，现在目的性消费很多，因为通过小红书。Actually, there are 3 ways for the people to come to the site. Actually, people come here because of the media. The Chinese is very popular for the web media like TikTok. So people know this place and they drive here in purpose. So they can drive here directly, and they can also come for the second level. They can come here directly from the urban space. Like we have 2 main entrances. So it's kind of significant images for the from the architecture. So people see this special building and they come to this place. Also, if they find this entrance, they can feel the different atmosphere inside the site. So they come down into the landscape directly.
Okay, thank you. Should we go to the end, Richard?
Thank you. I want to pick up on that topic a little bit. You talked about urban vitality in the video, and there's one moment when we were looking at the project from the street corner, and talking about what's visible from the car. In other words, the car's view and creating the symbol or the image of the building. And yet it's about urban vitality. And as we were speaking about a minute ago, people walking in various ways. But there seems to be a disparity between the image on the outside, which is big scale and car oriented, and the idea of attracting people into what's quite delicate on the interior. Could you talk about that?
就是室外，就是我感觉那个建筑比较可以具体，那个是人整，这应该是怎么吸引人进来？
这个实际上你就可以看成像花花园，因为很有意思的那个口子啊，
So actually, we have these 3 towers and the retails on the ground floors. So you see the buildings, but we make the 2 holes at like the entrance. For example, the UFO space shape is kind of image which attractive for the people from the urban space. So when the people come down to the space, they can feel the landscape inside. So afterwards, they can come into the special, like we say it's root from the Chengdu urban life previously. So it's kind of the tradition atmosphere from the early Chengdu city. So they found another world inside the site, like it's a totally modern building atmosphere. And then inside the site is another world. That's how we call it a different world, we call it.
I've noticed that as a reference, you've used traditional garden as a very strong image and strong DNA for this project. And I would like to maybe hear a little bit more about the, for instance, I know that experiencing a garden is sort of a contemplative journey. And how do you relate that to occupying public realm and eventually shopping?
那个庭院的那种感觉和这个购物的感觉联系在一起啊。
实际上，我们是把庭院和购物实际上是通过彼此把这些，包括整个彼此把持这个各个平台上装置一些信息平台，然后跟我们的商业它的一个，就相当于商业的一个自然的一个颜色，然后人在走的过程中像逛一街，又像逛花园一样。
Okay. We are trying to make the retails, the commercial atmosphere on different levels. Like the -1 floor is full of like water and landscape, and like the ground floor and the first floor, there are different kind of platform which people can sit. So it's kind of an extension of the commercial from the interior commercial atmosphere into the landscape. Like this is like semi-public or semi-private place, which people can enjoy both the commercial part and the landscape part. So it's a kind of mix. So when you go through the path, you can definitely see the landscape, and you can also see the commercial side on the other side actually. So it's you can feel both the landscape and the commercial atmosphere at the same time. So that's because how they link together. If this is okay for your question, yeah.
Yeah, I certainly very much appreciate the landscape qualities, and it seems almost like a public park you've created in a very dense network of buildings. Could you elaborate on the way that functions with the retail? Do we depart this beautiful landscape into an internalized retail experience, or does the retail affected by its place within the landscape? Are there different thresholds or different types of retail experience that accord with different parts of the landscape?
就是你根据景观的那个分类，然后你的商业是不是就是给不同的景观引导跟你进行不同的商业？
这个实际上我们商业的情况，因为我们是个全时段的一个商业，然后我们在全天候各个时段都有不同的商业。实际上这个景观是混合在里面，没有 特定的就是激光的三个。
So we actually have different kind of commercial part, like different kind of retails, or like supermarket or cinema, different kinds of commercial categories. And we don't really specify how this landscape is related to every retails. It's like a common landscape inside, connecting all the retails together, instead of one piece of the landscape related to the commercial part one by one. So it's not that kind of one-to-one affecting each other.
So is there a separate internal circulation that addresses the shops, or do the shops have shop fronts addressing the landscape?
是商业塑造的这个景观还是景观塑造的？
我觉得是相互塑造，就是他们之间是相互影响，在我它是完全不一样的一个购物体验。
So it's not we are not saying it's the shops addressing the landscape, or the landscape addressing the commercial part. I think we are saying that it's addressing each other, like they are affecting each other. Not it's another kind of shopping experience.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything? No. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your questions.